This Henry Hoover is going to be cut, screwed, and rewired so it can power this motherboard that's going in it. I've had it for about a year now, and in that time it's had a Coke can strapped to it, Pringles can strapped to it that we sort of used as a kettle, and it was also used to replace a motherboard in a PC that, well, didn't really turn on because it was a bit dirty. And once we built this PC, we're going to do a slight durability test to it by throwing it down the stairs. Will it survive? Well, let's find out. We're going to try and reuse this cable to power the computer, but to do that, we're going to need a small power supply. So I got this thing for a £5. I'm assuming these two screws take something off. Not sure what they take off, but we're about to find out. Oh, wait, I see. This is a whole bracket, isn't it? Oh, yeah, look at that. And this is the power supply. What's the output? 150 watt power supply. That might not. Is that enough? You know what? Let's use it anyway. We'll see what happens. I'm assuming it's just these two screws and it slides out. You're going to slide out? Oh my god, it does. Now it's out. Look at that. We're probably going to mount it to the back there, or should we mount it? You know what? It'll fit at the back, so let's mount it there. We just have to... Oh no, it's alright. The motherboard can't fall on it anyway because there's stuff in the way. Should we just put some wood screws for it? You know what? Let's do that. We only need 2 because, well, realistically, we don't need any. We could just use cable ties, but we might as well secure it down properly-ish. I don't know how well the Hoover will function afterwards if we were to put one on, but the motor probably wouldn't even fit, to be fair. Alright, yeah, these are way too long, but I ain't got any smaller ones. I've never put screws through a Henry Hoover before, but, you know, there's a first for everything. Oh, wait, there's a fan at the bottom, isn't there? We should be alright for cooling. I mean, I could always drill a hole through the base of the Hoover. Oh, you know what? That's secure. Look at that. Might need to grind these off. Oh, wait, I should have probably checked if we have all the power cables for it first and if they would reach. So now we have the power supply in. It was time to mount the CPU cooler onto the motherboard using some cable ties. Secure the fan onto the heatsink. Alright, yep, still as watery as the other ones. Try and secure this in sort of an X pattern. This isn't the best way to do it, but it does something. Alright, it's completely covering the CPU now. You know what? It doesn't matter if it's wonky, does it? Maybe. It should be alright. That in the Hoover like that, the power button would be on the outside. Nothing's blocking the fan. We should probably plug this fan in to be... Yeah, there we go. It fits in there. So all of this side is sort of sorted. We got the power supply screwed in. We got the motherboard sort of mounted in, but not really. We're going to put this to one side. And now what's going to happen is Henry's hat's going to be taken apart so we can expose Henry's original power cables and wire it onto the power supply. Take the motor off this thing and keep the cable in. This shroud thing held in by 4 screws, I think. There we go, that's one. Jiggle it. Oh, there we go, look at that. Now we can put this to one side. That's where all the wire and stuff is. Now this is the actual Hoover itself. I'm assuming we just loosen all these screws to take the motor out, but you never know. Oh, hey up, does that just pull out? Yeah, there we go, look at it. Yeah, see, that's the motor. I'm assuming these are positive and negative cables. Should we just snip them off? Because we're not really going to use it, are we? There we go. Now, how do we take this motor out? Does it just pull out? Oh, yeah, alright, that was easy. Motor's a lot smaller than I thought. And now we're just left with this thing. So this head bit here, I'm assuming this is positive and that's negative. Not really got a way to test it, to be fair. Brown normally is positive, I think. And this is like neutral, so negative. No idea what any of this does, but I think we can just connect this straight to the power supply and see what happens. We can take all this stuff out because we're not going to need it, are we? So we just twist these wires round. See, when this is on, we don't want these two to touch or else they could spark. We can now take one of these power cables that will fit into the power supply, snip it from there. So as you probably see here, there are blue and brown wires, and there are blue and brown wires here. This is white because it's sort of weathered a bit. But there's also an earth cable which sort of grounds it. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and use these two first, but if that doesn't work, we're going to ground this earth cable to this blue wire. And, well, hopefully it doesn't blow up or anything, but we should be alright. See, we could solder this, or we could twist and tape it, which is what we're probably going to do. Now you want to grab your electrical tape. There we go, just twist it round. So that's the blue one connected. Now we can connect. For now, we're going to put that in there. Right, we're going to turn it on. And now, if I connect to green and black wire, this power supply should turn on. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. Oh my god, it turns on. Look at that. Right, so we can now use this Henry Hoover to power the power supply. If I lift it up, does it turn off? Yeah, alright. This cable works. We don't need to ground it. Unless if I touch this, do I get electrocuted? No, I don't. Alright, we should be alright then. So now we know that the wiring works, we need to Dremel out this plastic bit so it'll be able to fit over the motherboard. Alright, so now that this has been dremeled out, we're going to see if it fits. So, we might need to do a bit more cutting. We're pretty much going to have to trim all this off. Might as well do that to the other side as well. So chop it there, chop a bit off there. Then we should be good to go. So I'm going to get to chopping that and we'll be right back. So now that we've cut this thing out, this should hopefully sit over the motherboard. Yeah, look at that. Now we know that Henry's helmet would fit. It's time to dremel out the bottom of this. So we're going to cut these bottom supports out and then we'll be right back. Now let's see if this motherboard will fit. I did have to make the grooves a bit bigger because of the limited amount of space, but yeah, there we go. Motherboard sits in the grooves. Now we should hopefully sit a bit lower. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. So now we clear that, we're going to have to see if we can clear Henry's helmet. Okay, his helmet's not going to fit. There's a bit of a gap. Actually, that's all right. We can Dremel all this out because it's just loose plastic anyway. Right, so a load of chopping later. I mean, I've pretty much taken the whole chunk out of this. Let's see if it fits. Right, we first have to line these two up at the front. There we go, and then at the back. And yeah, look at that. I mean, it seems to fit. So now we're going to put these 4 screws back in because that's what hold this and this on. There we go, that's in. Now let's put his head on. Yeah, here we go. I think we're screwing in now. I don't know if we're going to have to Dremel out his helmet or not, but this is one way to find out. Oh, are you going to slide on or is his helmet going to be in the way? I forgot to put these tabs in. Well, his head is on. Tabs are here, which I'm assuming they're going to need a bit of grinding because of his side, so we're going to have to unscrew him again. Yeah, this side's fine. All right, so we just need to Dremel off this slight bit there, and then we'll be right back. Right, so now that we've Dremeled this bit out, let's have a little test fit. I'm assuming it's going to work. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. No longer in the way, and you won't notice it from the outside. So now what we can do is we can screw this back onto, well, the base of this. See if his helmet fits. So his helmet now fits. What we need to do is cut out some holes for these ports. You know what, we can either do it the quick and easy way or we can do it the complicated way. Let's just do it the quick and easy way, which is mainly just see where that is. There we go, just trace around it. I assume it's going to be flat there. And now let's install the GPU. Is the GPU meant to be that loose? No idea, but a bit of a cutout for the GPU slot. Alright, so now we can just cut them out, one for the USB port, one for the GPU. And then, well, we'll be right back. So now what we're going to do is we're going to place this... Oh, I forgot this CPU cooler was loose. We're going to place this motherboard back into where it was. I mean, we've done an okay job. Now what we need to do is secure the motherboard. Do we need to secure the motherboard or will the lid secure it? When we put his head on, because he's got cutouts here, I reckon that will hold the motherboard in place. Let's connect up this power supply. I mean, I have no idea if it works or not. Probably should have tested it beforehand, but I reckon we just shove the power button there and just put the lid on. Let's shove it all at the back. We have to plug this thing in. We can now put that down there. Actually, there we go, route it around the side, that'll do. Do we have to mount this? Should we mount it to the CPU cooler? You know what, let's mount the SSD to the CPU cooler. That should hold that in place, and then also the GPU should hold it in place. That's a good spot for it. I think his head's on. Yep, his head is on. We have access to some of the ports, not all of them. Does the motherboard move? Yeah, look at that. That's secure. That'll do. That's not going anywhere. Power button's here. It's like he's got earrings. Henry is plugged in. Nothing's blown up when I've done that, so we should be alright. Now let's plug the monitor in. There we go. Henry's on. Now let's press this power button. Let's see what happens. Oh, green light. Henry is turned on. I don't think it's recognising the keyboard. Right, let's turn Henry off by his earring, and let's turn him back on. I mean, now it just looks like he's got Christmas lights, to be fair. It's detected all 4 gigabytes, so we've done something cool, right? Let's try a different keyboard, it might just be that. I'm pressing F1. Can we turn it off and on again? Yeah, why is it not getting any keyboard input? I mean, the power supply works. That's a good thing. So since we're having a bit of motherboard issues with this thing, what we're going to do is we're going to take this out and we're going to put the motherboard from this computer in there. If you don't know what this computer's from, well, it's the same computer that was cooled with the Henry Hoover, and I also strapped a GPU to the side of it. So let's put Henry off to one side, and now we can start removing the motherboard. Now let's get Big Henry back. Okay, we are resting on that connector there. We've still got ports clearance on the side, but the GPU is sitting a bit further up. Right, so now that we know that it sort of fits-ish, we're going to mount the CPU cooler on it. We're going to have to use some cable ties again. It's been secured a lot better than the last one. I've also connected the fan, but now we should be able to lower this down into this thing. There we go. CPU power's in. Let's put it in this slot. It is slightly lower than the other one. Oh, we do need a bit of clearance for the HDMI cable though. Less integrated graphics work. We have got a display port connector at the bottom. We might have to try and cut this with something. I've got these cutters, but they are a bit fragile, so I don't know if they... Oh, you know what? They cut. Could we have just used this instead of a Dremel? That should be enough clearance. Right, where's my cable? Might have to make it a bit wider. Oh yeah, it goes in. None of the ports line up anymore, so we're gonna have to feed this through. We might have to slightly make this a bit bigger. Yeah, look at that. Alright, where's my mouse? How are we gonna put the mouse in? We're gonna have to snip a bit more off. There we go. We might as well just cut a whole chunk out of it. That's enough clearance for a keyboard and a mouse. That'll do, we only need 2 ports. Now we can plug this SSD in. That'll do there. Right where the intake is. Yeah, so this thing's going to be exhausting down because we couldn't really face the cooler at the other side because there was RAM in the way. And now will his head fit? I don't know if it will or not. It probably will, to be fair. We first need to connect the power cable though. Now it's time to plug Henry in. Fan spinning. Are we going to post? Does DisplayPort not work on these things? It'd be alright if it bends a bit, shouldn't it? So since this thing needs this GPU in order to output a display to the monitor, we're going to get some wire cutters and we're just going to cut this section out. Then we're also going to cut it out of the head so then it sort of fits on and we can put a display cable to it. Should be alright. There we go. Is that enough clearance for the cable? You know what? It fits. Yeah, there we go. Oh, his latch isn't gonna... You know what? That's on. Sort of. We can... Henry's helmet is sort of secured. Now that we've got the computer inside of Henry, let's start it up. Plug this long extension cable in. Let's turn it on from the back. I can hear the fan spin. Okay, the fans are spinning quite a bit in there. Don't know how I can hear it, but you can definitely see it moving some... Should we check what the CPU temperatures are at? I don't think the CPU cooler's being pressed down by anything, so it might be a bit high. Oh, yep, alright, well, we're at 65. Let's try to push the cooler down. All I'm literally doing is putting pressure on the cooler. And yeah, alright, we are dropping temps. It looks like we might need to find a stick or a bit of cardboard to hold it down. How about if we push the cooler down with the old cooler, so we can sort of try and push the cooler with the cooler? There we go, let's put some pressure on it. Look at that, down to 37. Should we just slam this down and hopefully... Alright, yeah, let's not do that. We might break it. We have got pressure on the cooler now by using the other cooler. So now that we've done that, let's connect Henry to the internet. We do have 12 gigabytes of RAM in this thing now with a Core i5. So we're going to leave this benchmark running and then... Oh, hello, it's going up. Then we'll be right back. So since this thing didn't want to connect to the internet because, well, this is a bit broken, we're just going to throw him down the stairs and see if he turns on. Alright. Oh, alright. Well, his head's just fallen off. Alright, let's see if Henry's ready. 3, 2, 1. Sorry, Henry. Okay, Henry sort of exploded. His helmet did come off, and the motherboard is no longer inside the computer. I reckon he's fine. I was not expecting that. Oh, Henry's tab's fallen off. Oh, and his other tab fell off. This thing might still work. So I've sort of put Henry back together. We've connected him to this TV. Let's turn Henry on. Fans are spinning. Let's see if it posts. Graphics card is seated all the way. I mean, to be fair, this cable might be a bit dodgy, so let's move this back upstairs. Let's plug the GPU in. Is it going to post? Oh, no signal. So when I said this thing doesn't post, it it does. Literally, it just needed another graphics card, so I'm assuming this one's a bit fried. But if you look at the board, literally look at that. It's not even straight anymore. You know what? This part isn't that bad. Literally look at that. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but there's a slight bow in this corner. Look, that's not even straight. But you know what? It still works, so I'm not complaining. Also, 95% of people who watch these videos aren't subscribed, so, you know, if you want to see a video where I sort of put 3 door hinges on 3 iPhones, click on the video here. Thank you people for watching, all that stuff. Next week, goodbye.